going to be presented by Dr. Lemon.
I'm here to present an award to one of our United States senators, Senator Patty Murray from the state of Washington. Patty Murray has been an advocate to get rid of asbestos in this country. She's put a bill up, and she started this campaign back around the year 2000, and it didn't go very far at that time. She's put it back up again, and she has been persistent on the campaign in this country to get rid of asbestos. As we know, our politicians aren't held in high esteem sometimes, but I have to give high esteem to Senator Patty Murray for her work in trying to ban asbestos. I don't have to tell all of you that over 40 countries have now banned the use of asbestos and the import of asbestos. As you saw from my talk, you saw from Dr. Miller's talk, you heard from the rest of the speakers, it's still here with us. But our organization strongly supports the efforts and the work that Senator Patty Murray has done, and we want to give her this year our award for the Tribute of Hope Award. And she has a message for us.
Hello, I'm Senator Patty Murray, and I am so proud to receive the Tribute of Hope Award from the Asbestos Disease Awareness Organization. It's a true honor to be presented with an award from a group comprised of selfless volunteers, and I thank you all for giving your time so that asbestos victims are given a voice. In particular, I'd like to thank Linda Reinstein for all of her efforts. Linda has come here to Washington, D.C. and has stood up for patients and families at hearings and press conferences. I want you all to know she's a great advocate for you. I also want to extend my deepest sympathy to Linda for the tragic loss of her husband, Alan, who died from this horrible disease. Today, it is really all of you that I should be honoring with an award. Without your ongoing assistance and leadership, I would not have been as aware of the devastating effects of asbestos. It was 5 years ago that I started my effort to ban the production and importation of asbestos in the U.S., and throughout that journey, I've appreciated the support and guidance I've received from groups like yours. I know that the path toward justice for victims of asbestos exposure has been a long, sometimes difficult battle in Congress. I know sometimes it's felt like we might not be able to win. The actions of the Senate have been far too slow in the effort to enact legislation that will ban asbestos and fund life-saving research. But you know what? A few years ago, when we started working together on this issue, very few people even knew that asbestos was not banned, and even fewer knew just how dangerous it is. We've changed that. We've worked together to raise the profile of this issue and to raise consciousness about this illness. Now we're ready to go the next step, a permanent ban on asbestos. On March 1st, I introduced my bill to ban asbestos in America. I hope you'll encourage your senators to join in supporting my bill. Because of your passionate interest in preventing asbestos diseases, finding new and effective treatments, and encouraging new scientific information, my bill also now includes research into all asbestos-related cancers, including mesothelioma. We must do the research necessary to find ways to better detect and treat all asbestos diseases. On the same day I introduced my bill, I also held a hearing in the Senate to highlight the need to ban asbestos and provide real awareness and support for research and effective treatment. Awareness of the risks of asbestos is so important. We must give people the information they need to prevent exposure and recognize the early warning signs of this disease. We must stop the suffering. I will not budge in my resolve on this issue, and I will not let up until this legislation has been enacted. I urge you to keep in touch with my office about progress on my efforts to ban asbestos. Visit my website at murray.senate.gov/updates and check the box for my asbestos update. It's time to put a stop to the importation and use of this deadly material. We don't need to expose any more Americans to asbestos products. Once again, thank you for this award and all that you do on behalf of asbestos victims. I'm so proud to be your partner in the United States Senate, and I look forward to continuing to fight by your side.
She won't hear me, but thank you, Senator Murray.
Could we ask Dr. Harbert to come up and join us? It is my great honor to be here and to announce the award of the Selikoff Lifetime Achievement Award given by ADAO. I have a special connection with Dr. Selikoff. I first met him in 1968. I was a first-year medical student at Mount Sinai, started working with him, trained with him, did research with him, worked with him until his death, and bring a legacy of all that Dr. Selikoff meant to my work. What Dr. Selikoff clearly did was take medical knowledge, but take it another step. He became a public advocate, he became an advocate for workers, and so it is really quite fitting that we have an award named for him. The recipient today is Dr. Michael Harbert. You've heard him mentioned already. He's going to be speaking this afternoon. Dr. Harbert is at the Hermanos Cancer Center, heads up the research unit looking at vermiculite, asbestos, and other pulmonary diseases. And personally, it's a pleasure for me to see that you get this award in the spirit of Dr. Selikoff, to get the Selikoff Lifetime Achievement Award, which John's going to present to you. Let us all recognize Dr. Michael Harbert.
The one thing I gotta say, Doc, is you took 10 different personalities, or 10 people, brought us up to Detroit, gave us the best care possible that I've ever seen in my 42 years of existence from the doctor and your staff. We appreciate every bit of what you've done for us, and we look forward to your continuing work. So on behalf of me and my daughter, you deserve it.
Thank you very much, Dr. Frank and Linda. I'm really very humbled by this all. You know, I'm one of those guys who still can't believe he actually got through medical school. John, thank you very much. It's deeply humbling for me every day to be allowed to help patients recover their health, or in the cases where we can't recover health, go more gently and in a more dignified fashion to the end of their lives. The stories that we all know about the hazards of doing work as patient advocates or as physicians or as spouses of people with asbestos-related disease are endless. And I just must tell you one that happened to me personally, because sooner or later, these people who pull the asbestos out of the ground and who spread it around to kill the rest of us will learn that they might knock us down every now and then, but we get back up again. You know, I also want to thank my two eldest sons who are here, Andy and Mike, who have stuck with their old dad through 100,000 asbestos meetings. When they were little and I would lecture the residents or physicians in other parts of the state or country, I would drag one along and make them sit in the back and color. So they know a lot about the pathophysiology of the asbestos fiber. That having been said, I learned exactly the strength of these people, and that asbestos is a whole lot more than a hazard to human health. It's a hazard to the society and to medicine and to our basic understanding of morality. I began seeing asbestos patients. I have 30 seconds. I'll talk very fast. When I was in training at the University of Michigan, and I did my job. I saw people with asbestos disease and said, gosh, you have this disease, and those who didn't, I totally didn't. We undertook some larger screening programs for the UAW and for the Occupational Health Legal Rights Foundation. We didn't do any attorney toxic tort screening programs. We did for joint labor management programs. In 1993 and 1994, we were investigated by the Michigan Employment Security Commission, Michigan Blue Cross Blue Shield with 2 investigations, Medicare, USAID. I had been the chief U.S. medical advisor to Solidarity during the Cold War, and USAID felt that it was improper that I turned in a Xerox copy of an airplane ticket documenting a trip from Warsaw to Gdansk having lunch with Lech Wałęsa. The way I ultimately got out of it was by Lech writing a note to USAID saying that I really did have lunch with him and his priest that day, and including a picture. But the thing that startled me the most, and that I think that is emblematic of the strength that these companies have, is that I was working away in my office, sort of being the quiet guy that I try to be, when a federal agent showed up, and I was subpoenaed by the U.S. federal grand jury in Detroit to release all of my medical and administrative information detailing my involvement with diagnosing asbestosis at the Ford Motor Company Rouge plant. I was dumbfounded. We refused, of course, to give the medical information. And what ultimately happened in all of this was that I got an apology from the federal authorities. The U.S. attorney actually called my attorney, who was a fellow I had been a safety patrol boy with in 1962, and told him that they just couldn't find anything to prosecute me on. To this day, when I think of the resources that were expended in trying to take just a small-town doctor from Detroit off of the map because he'd made a diagnosis of asbestosis in a number of people at a large corporation, is appalling, and one that certainly helped me to decide to keep going. So again, thank you very much for this award. I'm deeply humbled by getting it and by everyone being here. I'm deeply humbled and honored by the patients who allow me to care for them.
A fighter, an advocate, a puppeteer, a politician with a conscience, Pat Martin is all these things. He is not afraid to stick his head above the parapet, and in fact, he has loads of scars to prove it. But he is still here, and he is still in the fight. This is the 3rd time that Pat has been to an ADAO conference. In July, he came to Bangkok, and he shocked our very polite Thai hosts by condemning his country's role in the global asbestos lobby. His comments were widely reported in Thailand and in Canada. And in October, again, he brought asbestos to the fore during the furore stimulated by Canada's appalling behavior in Geneva at the meetings to do with the Rotterdam Convention. Pat is a valued and trusted ally. He is in this for the long fight. I am delighted to be able to present the ADAO 2007 Tribute of Unity Award to Pat Martin, MP from Canada. Thank you.
I actually have an opportunity to speak later in the day, so I'll be very brief, but I just wanted to say what an honor it is for me. My first reaction was getting this from recognition handed to me from Laurie. It should be Laurie getting the award. And then I looked in the program, and Laurie did, in fact, get this same award in 2005. But let me just say, we all come to this organization with different skill sets and for different reasons, but all of us have been touched by this terrible mineral. All of us know people who have, are either sick with this material or who have passed away from it. If I could just mention, when I was the head of the Carpenters Union in the province of Manitoba, my home province, we had a building trades council, which the 14 leaders of the various building trades met every month to talk about the interests of the industry. 2 out of those 14 have died of mesothelioma, and 1 is currently diagnosed with another as asbestos-related disease. The heat, frost, and insulator, who, of course, insulating pipes and the various things you saw on these slides, the boilermaker, and the painters, union representatives. So this material seems to follow me throughout my life. It pops up from my early days working in the asbestos mines, through my career as a carpenter, and now again. Looking at this trophy in my office will be a reminder to stay true to the cause and to work with you, and as this movement gains momentum. I have to compliment Linda and Doug. This organization, more than any other, pulls together such a diverse group of people, from the scientists and the technical experts to victims and their families to politicians like myself and Senator Murray. It's an amazing organization for that reason, and I think we're just getting started. Thank you very much.
Michelle and Paul Zingenbaum are, I think, first and foremost, good friends of mine. So it gives me a great honor to come up and present this award. Paul and I worked closely together on the ad that we hope that we'll be able to show soon. But if you know Paul, you know that he is an engineer. And if you know an engineer, you know they're going to take something apart and try and put it back together better. And Paul received his diagnosis of peritoneal mesothelioma with the same mindset, a problem that had to be, had to be defined and solved. Paul's extensive research uncovered a hornet's nest, corporate malfeasance, government neglect, and a national epidemic of disease. Paul and Michelle's journey has taught them more than they ever probably wanted to know about this disease, but they have never shied away from the hard questions or the complex issues. Their openness and personal commitment has been total. It has been complete. It is my greatest pleasure to present them with the 2007 ADAO Tribute of Inspiration that goes to this magnificent couple.
We feel in very august company up here, I'll tell you that. Thanks, Doug, again. That was very sweet. And, you know, we don't do this for recognition. We do it because it's the right thing to do. I think some of you know the various things we've been up to, from supporting product testing, which we're not ready to report on, and all the way to supporting research and things like that, medical research. Anyway, I want to thank all the volunteers of ADAO. They've been a fabulous group to work with for us, very inspiring. I want to thank all the esteemed guests for being here, and everyone here who's been affected personally by asbestos-related disease, especially. As Doug said, 4 years ago, we began a very long and difficult and terrifying journey. We're sure to face some difficult times ahead, we know that, but we've learned a lot. We've conquered a lot of challenges already. We feel that we've become stronger as a result of going through this battle, and we think we're ready for whatever's next. But there are tens of thousands of families that have stories like ours. They differ in the details, but they have the same, they're based in the same sense of loss and violation and frustration. Michelle and I really think of ourselves as just two more soldiers in a war, and every one of us carries battle scars on our bodies or on our hearts. All of us together are making progress, though. I sat back and thought about this before coming here, and I really feel from 3-4 years ago that when I look back and compare where we are, even though we're having difficult battles like the one that John and his team are fighting, we are gaining political strength. We take those setbacks and we turn them to our advantage in this battle, and I think that's what we need to do. We're making medical progress. We're seeing it happen. We're seeing longer survivals. We think those trends are going to ripple through into greater social awareness of asbestos issues, which we need to do, and greater legal accountability for purveyors of asbestos death. ADAO is in the forefront of that war, and I think of it as a citizens' army that's now recognized as a force to be reckoned with. We're confident of ADAO's continued success. We're going to continue to seek the most effective ways of using our own knowledge, energy, and resources to best benefit our peers and to pursue our common struggle with them. And we're proud to be associated with ADAO and with Asbestos Awareness Week and with this conference, and we thank you for this award, which we accept on behalf of every victim and their loved ones. Thanks.
Les Gramstad is being honored today posthumously with the Alan Reinstein Memorial Award. I'm a really tough girl, so just give me a second. The Alan Reinstein Award was created in honor of my husband, who served as the former president of ADAO, an activist before his death in May of mesothelioma. Alan believed everyone should speak up and out. In the picture in front of you is 2 years ago when Alan and Les got to meet in D.C. Les wore the white hat, and Alan wore no hat, but somehow they were kindred spirits. Les, a rascal, a cowboy, a character, and a true friend. Les Gramstad was all of these. He was also, to many people, the face of Libby, Montana. With his sidekick, Gayla Benefield, they brought Libby's asbestos tragedy to the front of the papers and our courts. Les suffered from asbestos disease for over 11 years, but more he suffered from guilt of what he brought home to his family on his work clothes. He translated his outrage to advocacy and demanded answers for all of the people in Libby whose life had been impacted by W.R. Grace. We lost Les on January 21st, which was Emily's birthday. We miss him, and we want to honor his memory and remember his family and friends who have to face the future without his support and humor. I am honored to present the award in his name that Dr. Brad Black will accept and present to Norita in Libby.
Well, Linda, you said quite a bit, but I do feel honored to receive this award on behalf of Les's wife, Norita, and his family, who could not attend. Les, up into the bitter end, was always stood up hard and tall, and was gritty, and every bit of what Linda's described. And he attended meetings up until the very end, staying with it, whether it was our technical advisory meetings, whatever. He never quit going to meetings, even when he was becoming much more ill. He was so dedicated to making sure that our community was going to be clean and no kids were going to grow up and experience anything close to what he had experienced in his life or what he knew his family is yet to experience. So anyway, thanks. I appreciate this opportunity and thank Linda for letting me share in this, and I certainly thank the Gramstad family for allowing me to be part of it too.
Congratulations.